My Gavan and Melanine, and well met indeed. I am Arakir Galadurthan, the head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer. Welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we continue on as Bree. Our peaceful Breeland campaign as we slowly take out Dunland. However, a precursor to what is to come in the Total War campaign that I also have going with Dol Amroth, you'll note the ease with which the Dol Amroth forces routed and destroyed the Breelanders. Now do note that we are going to have to face that very problem when we come to fight against Isengard, because they will outclass us severely. But for now, that's not what we're doing. We are slowly eradicating Dunland a town at a time, and our mission is taking us south to Beirig and west to Barrow-downs, whereupon Dunland should hopefully cease to be, save for Dunyard, where their final forces will gather under Freka, who upon the death of Makar will become the leader of these peoples. Our armies down here isn't really that good. I mean, we've got support in Ed, who brings a reasonable force with him, and by reason why it's actually pretty damn good. Woodland Hunters are, of course, silent killers, gaining kills without you even realising. But we have hit the barracks event, and we are now about 10 turns away from the decision. Hopefully that 10 turns will be only a few episodes away as well. We have a spy in Northern Arthedain. Leo the Gossip, apparently, is in Gondor. What's he in Gondor for? Why am I sending you to Gondor?
What is it you wish to discuss?
Oh, maybe getting alliance with them, perhaps? They're allied to the clans of Eriador. Oh, that's brilliant. They've said yes. They have said yes.
Good day to you.
We solidify an alliance with the Kingdom of Gondor, meaning now that this entire western and southern side is safe, and Isengard will soon face the wrath of 3 nations. Albeit our nation is weak and pathetic. You are weak and pathetic. I do hope you've all enjoyed the Gondolin Part 1 lore video. I enjoyed making it. Although, at the very beginning, many people have said that they thoroughly enjoyed the video, and I thank you for the feedback. But at the very beginning, I completely ballsed up, if you'll pardon my French, because even though I knew what I was going to say, I tend now to write little bullet point notes to myself, just so that I'm kept in the flow of it, rather than just rambling. Which is what it still is anyway, let's be honest. But I keep bullet points to try and at least maintain some semblance of order. And at the very beginning of this episode, what I foolishly did not do is write down the notes just about that the elves started in Nevrast and Vinyamar, and then Turgon, through the intervention of Ulmo, seeks for Gondolin, finds it, and begins building it. Now, I did say all of that stuff in the video, but I say it really disjointedly and a little all over the place, and I was disappointed with the beginning, I must confess. Additionally, of course, as a few of you will have seen, because NVIDIA, well, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. NVIDIA, the tool I use to record all of this, if you are just looking at your desktop and you set NVIDIA to start recording, it massively wigs out and it won't record the video, and it will only record the sound. And the only way to get around this is to go into NVIDIA's control panel and tell it to record from there. So don't use a shortcut, but open NVIDIA, record from there, which is what you saw at the start of the video if you watched it when it first went live. Because I then have to cut the first sort of 10 to 15 seconds off as I'm then closing NVIDIA, loading up the tool I use to give the images, and press play on the music. And I edited the video, I cut all that out, and then I uploaded the video that I had not edited. So the first 10 seconds were a joke. But I edited it, and I think by about 1,000 views, the newer version had gone up. So that one was a minor one. So I was a little dubious, and whenever I put them up, I'm always very concerned that they're not going to do as well as previous ones, or I'm going to have done something majorly stupid and wrong. But I seem to have been alright, so I hope you enjoyed it. Now, this is concerning from Dunland, and what I am very tempted to do is move... but then they'll just come back for Yagdak's grave. Will Cliff be able to kill the army of Beirig and Makar's army? I'm not so sure that he will. So if we leave behind a Hobbit garrison and move those two together. Now if he turns back for Yagdak's grave, we can come back, chase him and get him, and then take Beirig on its own. And if he pushes for Cliff, we've then got support as well. So that's a better way to do it.
Yes, my lord.
And Ed has made it to the bridge, where the forces of Dunland have abandoned. Ah, idiots! They've pulled out of Barrow-downs with the main army. And Captain Duvsheath, or Dovesheath, I believe that's probably pronounced, actually. Owing to my recent visit to Dublin, where it's named after something called a black pool, which is written D-U-B-H-L-I-N-N. And it's pronounced Dovlin, but it's been anglicised to Dublin. So I'm assuming that's also Dove, so probably Dovesheath. And Captain Cork, who does not have very much at all, Captain Cork, and he's the one that's in the castle. Oh, that's good. So we've got this guy who's got a lot of troops, but not many in each battalion. And then this gentleman who has only 3 battalions, but they're full. And look at those. 4 experience point berserkers. They're going to do a lot of damage. But we have a lot of archers. And our archers will reign supreme. Your courage, men! We march into battle! Now, the second part of the lore video for Gondolin will not be in the next few weeks. It will be likely another month away. Because I want to take more time to read the Book of Lost Tales, because I've read up to the point in the Book of Lost Tales where Gondolin starts to decline, but I've not read beyond that, so I wish to read that. So the second part will be a while. But there's most likely a modding changes. Another developer log is probably due, as we have done a significant amount of changes. I say we, it's been another period of relative inactivity for me. But now that we actually have 4 team members and 2 very active beta testers, beta testers, there's less for me to do. And I feel a little bit like... selfish and big-headed. No, I feel a little bit like a gentleman who has a big impact on a company's survival for a very long time. And essentially runs it on his own for a considerable amount of time. And then now that it's doing well and others have come in to assist, I can kind of sit back and reap the rewards. But also, mostly, it's just that I'm really busy now with a proper job that takes up time beyond its own time. And me and my other half potentially moving in, or not potentially, moving in together soon. And there's just a great deal going on, and when I do now have free time, I want to just turn my brain off and play mind-numbing games. That's my version of television. And modding is not turning your brain off. Right, what we want to try and do is just basically fire every arrow we can at them. So I've put our elite archers slightly further forward, and the worst ones are a little bit behind. And when the enemy gets closer, we can then run the melee troops down the hill and move these to the sides and continue peppering them with arrows. So that's our plan. The reinforcements will just be coming somewhere from behind them, so we won't have to worry too much about that.
The enemy are bringing in reinforcements.
No, directly behind, in fact. Fire at will, Commander. Do we have any hills that we can use? Not really. This is sort of hillish here, but... hillish! Oh, and it is raining. Brilliant. Let's go for a bit more of a staggered with the infantry, so that they can cover more ground. March! And then if needs be, you've also got the general there. Everyone into positions. Perfect. Now what I think they are doing is waiting for their reinforcements to arrive, because they know they can't take me on their own. And as much as I would love to chase down that single ballista, it's not going to do too much damage on its own. So. But we should use this time to try and at least waste the time of the first army. So send in the archers with the most range. Start shooting them. Start giving them something to think about. Force them to realise that standing still is not very good when you're up against an archer arm. Oh, the bastards are using the ballista against me. How'd you like those apples? Right, they're coming. you can already pull back behind the militia, to be honest. You have a very good range. Now, where are they predominantly coming from? Melee! Begin moving down the hill. What are they doing? What are they doing? They're just walking slowly towards me. Right, where is the ballista? Let's at least get rid of this annoyance. Oh, it's right in the back. Bugger! How dare they actually think about what they're doing. Arrows fly. Men of Bree. Proud archers all. Where are their berserkers? Those are what we really want to worry about. Ah, here they come. Oh, you guys don't have as good a range as I'd hoped. These guys have an outrageous range. What is the difference in your ranges? 150. Dunedain. 220. Oh, wow. That is a big difference. If you could all please target those berserkers. Because they are going to be real killers. There we are. Send in the lumbermen. You guys cut into the back of those. You guys hit them. You guys hit them. Fire at will. Fire at will. Preferably somewhere where we aren't.
Only half the enemy force remains.
How many berserkers have survived so far? 89.
Victory will be ours.
More of them fall as our lumbermen arrive. They're bringing huntsmen round to attack us. Oh, good lord, they're routing already. The captain hasn't even died. Cowards. Get the general involved then. Right, here comes one of the few things that's an actual threat in this army. This is an unbelievable victory at the moment. It's shaping up to be. It's got routing across the board. Anything that fires an arrow, stop, stop. Move yourselves into position. He's taking a fair bit of damage, isn't he? A fair old lick. That'll do. Just get a bit closer to the lines and then start shooting again. Yes, it's over basically. Although I've stupidly abandoned the general there. Pull him out.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Fire! Capture them off. That's them done. Right, everyone else out here, pull right back behind the archer line.
The enemy general flees like the coward he is. Press onward and break the spirit of his army.
All our archers go like that. Yeah. And now the pockets of resistance will turn around, they'll come back to try and get us, and our archers will send them running. The only thing we have left to deal with then is the bloody ballista crew. Oh, they've just abandoned it! Straight in there. Let's get a rout. No, they didn't rout. They took the charge.
Our men have slain the enemy. Behold how
but an enemy general's gone down.
It's time to press the attack.
Who charges against a wall of archers? Look at them just running and going and running and going. Is there no one else? Beast Slayers, of course. They have an unnaturally high morale for a Dunlending unit. It's nice when things actually pan out, you know? It's nice when you make a unit and you think, I want this unit.
The victory we have won here today.
I want this unit to stand out in a way that there isn't just it's an elite unit, so its attack's good and its armor's good. I want it to be a really strange combination of various things, and that's exactly what the Beast Hunters are. Not only are they directly fly in the face of what most archers do, in that archers predominantly have terrible melee stats, so cavalry always counters them. It's the classic rock paper scissors. Infantry with spears tends to take cavalry, cavalry takes archers, and archers takes infantry. But the Beast Hunters, owing to the fact that they have a pike, no surprises there, Doomdown range is 127, it means that they actually counter the cavalry that come for them. But additionally, they have an outrageous morale for their tier, so they're always the last unit standing, and it's just good to know that there's these little variations, these oddities in the faction rosters that make them just stand out a bit. And I like that a lot. I do like that a lot, because when you take the skins off a lot of the units, almost every nation basically has a sword and board, a spear and shield, an archer, a cavalry, and there'll be a militia version of those, and there'll be an elite version of those, and that's those 8 units are the core of every roster in the game, basically, and it can be a bit disappointing. Now, the reason we fought that battle is because, as you've just seen, we've now just beaten the garrison of Barrow-downs. We've taken the city without having to siege it, and it's now ours. But now comes the question, do we share the same culture as Dunlend? We do, don't we? But we can't upgrade this castle either.
Our courage and honor have conquered.
It should be noted that Bree, they can upgrade cities to large cities if they join with the mercenaries. But if you join the Dunedain, there's no building bonuses at all. So we can never take this higher than a castle. So it would be quite a good idea to kill the population just to keep order. But I also know that, obviously, in this current version, order is not a problem at all. So, I mean, public order is 215%. Even though we just sacked the city. I mean, that's a bit silly, really, isn't it? Right, what we can get? We can get that in one turn, that in one turn. Do those the other way around. And merge what you've got so the retraining's a bit easier. Ah, it's blacksmith retraining, not skill retraining. Anything we can't use. Carpenter's hut. No, we can. Oh, military camp. Can't. 5% bonus to laws. Not a problem with that. Alright, Barrow-downs is ours. How much movement have you got, Ed? Build me a tower.
This tower will
chuck some more bandits in. Arrow fodder's always good.
My lord.
Right, Dunland's Last Stand script has definitely just kicked in.
Yes, my lord. Your order.
I believe it spawns in the hills of Byrig as well, so that was a very good idea to move Grepp over there. Dunlendings don't like me very much. That's a shock. Fools. Chucking some real units. It's nice having money, isn't it? It's just such a strange feature for me. I never normally have money. Certainly not to this extent.
Your orders. Yes.
Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, I accidentally did accept a wheel attack.
As you wish.
Oh, that's why he was going over there. The Merchant's Guild reward is 100 gold coins. That's utterly useless. Alright, here we go. What is going to happen? We are in the throes of the downfall of Dunland. And once that has happened, Eriador virtually has no enemies left. This is the problem. Which is why it is to be fleshed out more, but we are thinking, and this is today's topic of discussion, courtesy of one of our two now chief beta testers. Our two main beta testers, if you ever see their names anywhere, are El Monstero and Lord of Lynx. Yeah, these are our two chief beta testers. In the past, it's been others, but as with modding, testers come and go. And but Lord of Lynx has suggested a script similar to, or the basis, the foundation of it. Let's just have a look at the army and I'll tell you a bit more. Captain Malmoir Mail-Moire. Comes with Dunlending trash predominantly. 1 unit of archers, which has only got 41 men in it, so that's good. We've got a very small army. Ah, we're actually really outnumbered. This can't be the... Surely this isn't the guy that was coming from Dunyard. How has he gotten across the river so quickly? If I withdraw, will he pull back this way? Yes, he certainly will. And then Makar and Malmar will get me in too. We have no choice but to fight it this day. We might not win this. Or do we chance it with the withdrawal? And then we can call upon Cliff. No. Fight it. Because if you withdraw and then you fight it again and then you can't then withdraw, your army will die. Whereas if you fight it and you withdraw in the battle, they'll pull back further than they normally would if you just click withdraw. It's a little bit of a cheeky thing. But we'll at least try and win. We've got Councilman Grepp, and he's a phenomenal defender. And we have a nice little hill here as well. Shift 1. Why doesn't it just do that automatically, you know? Why doesn't it do that automatically? So, this is all we have. This is it. Right, so let me tell you about it. So, in an attempt to jazz up Eriador massively, not only for the player playing as this faction, but arguably more for a player playing as anyone else in Eriador. And that is a script for the Blue Mountains. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the scripts in DaC basically follow this choice pattern, but this one, I can actually fully get behind the lore basis of this. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, the 7 Dwarven rings, by the time of the Third Age, now do correct me if I'm wrong, I believe 4 of them have been taken into dragon hordes, and 3 of them are held by Sauron. He's definitely got 2, but I don't know if he has a 3rd, or if he has 4, or if the dragons have 4. Anyway, all of the Dwarven rings are not in possession of the dwarves. That's the point of this story. And in the Third Age, before the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, you don't see it in the film, it's not even made any mention of, which is quite a sad point, really. But we're told by Gloin at the Council of Elrond in the first book. Well, no, it is made mention of in... Yeah, sorry, in the books, of course it is. In the films, they gloss over it. In the books, at the Council of Elrond, Gloin tells Frodo, when he's talking to all of the people there, he tells him that the dwarves of Erebor were approached by a messenger from Sauron himself. And he says to them that if you join with me... Or, I don't know if it's fully join, because I've not read the passage for some time. It's either if you join with me, or if you basically just stay out of the war, but I'm fairly certain it's join with me, then I will return to you all of the rings in my possession. And obviously dwarves do like the rings, and they want them. They have that sort of greed. It's hammed up a bit in the Hobbit film, but that gold, a sort of lust and thirst for gold, is a feature of the dwarves. And, the dwarves reject this messenger. So that's the first point. They don't say yes. And then, of course, Erebor and Dale are attacked by a huge army of Easterlings, and they almost die. And it's only because of the downfall of Sauron that Erebor and Dale are not utterly destroyed. Which is another point that some people don't know. The Easterling army annihilates Dale, and the people of Dale flee to Erebor, whereupon they are then besieged by the Easterlings. King Dane dies, as does King Brand, who is the grandson of Bard, or Bane, one of them. Never remember the names. Always bad with the names. They die, and Erebor is basically losing, and then word reaches the Easterlings that Sauron has not only been defeated, but he himself has been killed because of the ring being dropped in Mount Doom. And the Easterling army immediately basically flees. They break the siege and they abandon the dwarves to their fate. It's never really explained why, but it could be any multitude of reasons. Because obviously Erebor represents real wealth, and why all of a sudden, just because Sauron dies, they're suddenly not going to take this wealthy city. But for whatever reason, they abandon it, and the dwarves and Dale are saved. And Sauron obviously came to them before this whole event and says, like, you can either join with me and I'll give you these rings and none of this destruction is going to happen to you. And the dwarves deny him. But we're going to implement a sort of this very version of this exact excuse me, sorry, this exact event are going to do exactly the same thing in Eriador. Sorry, do excuse me. So the basic core of this is going to be that as an Eriador player, and then also obviously for the AI at a certain point, a messenger from Sauron is going to approach you, and he's going to say, will you join us? And if you join us, we'll give you these rings. So we haven't hashed any of it out other than Link's initial suggestion. We've said, yes, we will go for something like that. But it's not coming for a long time. Part of the reason why 2.0 is going to be so far away. And, but that is going to come for Eriador. So as a player in Eriador, there's going to be a chance, although it'll be a very small chance that they do turn to evil when they're being controlled by the AI. But if, of course, you're being controlled, you're playing as Eriador and you side with Sauron, there'll be various benefits to siding with Sauron. And there won't really be any benefits to not siding with Sauron. I mean, there will be one or two things that nod to the fact that the Free Peoples are gracious and grateful that you have opted to stay with them. But you're not going to win anything major by staying with the Free Peoples, because that's just the continuation of your standard campaign. But of course, if you choose to join with Sauron, you will basically shift teams, and the whole of Eriador will then likely be your enemy. You will, so it just flips it on its head, and it turns nations that haven't previously been against each other, which is really, really good. Now, of course, as I say, it's going to be a choice, and for the AI, it will be really, really, really low. We're talking probably 10% tops, the AI version of Eriador. Now, this is all to be hashed out. Don't take anything I'm saying as literal, other than the general idea. The actual minutiae has yet to be discussed. Oh, our general's taking on their general. So, the chance, as I say, will be slim for the AI. So if you're playing as Bree, for example, like 60 turns in, you're not suddenly going to have a really powerful Dwarven army knocking on your western door. But you might. I mean, 10% is probably a bit low, really, because we do want it to jazz things up. But it's not going to be like 50-50. That's all I'm saying. And then as a human, you, of course, will then get the choice. Do I side with Sauron? Do I stay with... the good peoples, the free peoples? Now, one thing, just literally off the top of my head, saying things as they come to mind, is there's a strong possibility, owing to what Racer has done with the canned script, that by siding with Sauron, one of the main events you may well get is, if it's possible, we might make it so that you, as Eriador, can then join invasions. Because we can change your culture to Catholicism. So basically which is a really good idea, actually, because then if you take other Dwarven lands, you can't immediately train your own troops. You then become followers of Melkor. Right, you guys swing around here. No one's on defense anymore, please. You capture them because they might change their minds. I really like the fort unit. I'm really disappointed that they're going. General, capture things. Come on.
The enemy are badly bloodied.
Who's this?
They have lost half their men.
We are smashing it. We are absolutely smashing it. Grepp is a beast. This is all because of Grepp. This army, this Dunlending army, by all rights, should have massacred us.
The enemy army
Utterly massacred us.
and run them down.
And courtesy of our far superior archers, and the fact that Grepp is an outrageous commander, just means they've not won. But what we do need to do is get that down to about 95% if we can. Most of them are fleeing out over here. 86. Oh, there we are. There's 87 of those. That's why. I believe I have been told in various comments that 95% is... If 95% of the army is destroyed, the remaining 5% will just abandon that faction. Like, it will be as if the whole nation, the whole army was killed. We're closing on it. We don't have much behind us though, do we? I think that's about as good as we're going to get. There we are, we'll exit there.
100
men died and
Let all who
1,556.
remember this day, remember it as the day of our most glorious victory.
Archer militia did terribly. 58, barely even registered. Good God, they're not very good. 4 archers got 133, 4 axemen got 155. Merc militia got 146, Greenway 111, Woodland Hunters far and away the best, 210, 211. And even the Breeland bodyguards only got 76. So there's your thing to talk about for today. Now do note, as I say, the Blue Mountain, all of this thing is going to be way down the line. But it's just to gauge what you think of it. Because getting a feedback or advance warning of how you think something feels like. Now, I do note that those of you that would be like, what? There's absolutely no way the dwarves are going to turn on the free peoples and join Sauron. I would just say to you people that it is suggested in the writings that there are dwarves that are evil. And it is 100% known that Sauron offered the dwarves the rings of power in return for their services. And of course, as I've already said, the Ereborian dwarves said no. But this is, we're stretching out that lore one stage further and just suggesting that whilst the Ereborian dwarf said no, what would happen if he came to the dwarves of Eriador? That's what we're getting at. Right, what I think I'm going to do here is
your orders, my lord.
Give 4 units over there and then send Grepp away. So take 4 of the betters.
Yes, my lord. And
Grepp go back to there. Chuck some 4 units in. Right, I'll just do the final turn bits and then I'll end the episode. So we're getting at Barrow-downs. You should have built that. Yes, you did. Good. And you can retrain everything. Oh, maybe that isn't maybe that is experience retraining then. Oh no, it's because we just got the Sheriff's Guild. It's because we just got the Sheriff's Guild. Oh, a Traveller's Complex. We can get a Traveller's Complex. So do let me know your thoughts on the Eriador, and if you think it's ridiculous, it's a stupid idea, why would you ever consider that? Or if you think, no, that you know what, that's a really good way of jazzing up Eriador. Because you can't add in a fake evil faction to affect the balance. Because for those of you that have played the game a lot now, you will know that the core problem with Eriador is that there aren't enough lore-accurate evil nations in this region to spice it up. And the good forces are always going to win by sheer numbers. Lindon, Eredluin, Northern Dunedain, Imladris and Bree, and their only enemies really are Angmar and Dunland. The Misty Mountains kind of get involved a bit, but not really enough. And Enedwyth sometimes do join the forces of evil, and they take Bree down quite well. But then as soon as Lindon or the dwarves get involved, Enedwyth are out. So it's just for all of that, really. So let me know what you think. I do hope you enjoyed the Gondolin video. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay tuned on Friday as we continue our next set of rotations. And as I say, it will probably be a developer's diary. It might be something else. We shall see. But I'm thoroughly enjoying both of these campaigns. Really enjoying them, which is always good. And I hope you're enjoying them too. So until we speak again, dear friends, Navar and Aden Pedamad Melonin, and farewell.